Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about prose in Romantic age. The period between 1780 to 1830 is known as the Romantic age. An English Romantic movement started in 1798 with the publication of the lyrical ballads. This Romantic movement began as a reaction against the artificiality of the pseudo classics. Return to nature played a very important role in the revival of Romanticism. The Romantic revival is characterized by several characteristics such as spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings in the poetry. Romantic literature is marked by subjectivity, mysticism, and beauty of the universe, pessimism in tone, and zest for beauties. The Romantic period specialized in poetry, and we have greatest Romantic poets like William Wordsworth, Coleridge, Shelley, and Keats. But at the same time, they were also great prose writers like Charles Lamb, Hazlitt, and Thomas de Quincey. Main characteristics of the prose of the Romantic age are departure from reason. The literature of Age of Enlightenment put more emphasis on logic, science, and reason. But Romantic literature put more stress on imagination, emotions, and intuition elements of humanity that can defy reason. And nature was at the center. The concentration was more towards the nature, and Romantic essayists and poets focused on connecting with natural world. In this way, they tried to escape from the troubles of the world, and they were in search of peace of mind and nature and transcendentalism. This transcendental movement was a reaction against the 18th century rationalism. This movement was based on fundamental belief in the unity of world and God. Soul was thought to be the world. Thus, individual soul was identified with God. Elements of melancholy was there, and Romantic poets showed their interest and included elements of melancholy in their work. Humanitarianism was present. The essayists and poets of this age showed their interest in the common man. The prose writing of this age can be divided into two parts: Romantic non-fiction, Romantic fiction. The Romantic essay was influenced by the writings and style of Rousseau and Montesquieu. Romantic poets Coleridge, Keats, Byron, Shelley wrote excellent prose in their critical writings, letters, and journals. Some of the novelists like Jane Austen were master of prose style. The essays of Charles Lamb, William Hazlitt, and others were very personal in style and autobiographical in nature. They wrote prose for its own sake in the form of the essays and attained excellence in the art of prose writing. They were interested in the psychology and personality of human beings. The essays were often explorations of their own mental states and emotional conditions. Major prose writers of Romantic age are Charles Lamb. Most popular essayist of this period is Charles Lamb. In his hands, the essay reached its perfection. He lived a very humble, honest, and most self sacrificing life. He never married, and he devoted his life in taking care of his sister Mary, who was subject to mental fits, in one of which she fatally wounded her mother. Lamb is most famous for his essay of Elia and Tales from Shakespeare, which was co authored with his sister Mary. The style of Lamb is described as quaint because it has the strangeness which we associate with something old fashioned. We can easily trace in his English the imitation of the 16th and 17th century writers he most loved, that is, Sir Thomas Browne, Fuller, Milton, and Sir Isaac Walton. The works of Charles Lamb can be divided into three periods. The first period is his early literary efforts. It includes the poems C.L. in Coleridge's collection poems on various subjects, his romance Rosamund Grey, and it includes his poetic drama John Woodville and various works in prose and poetry. His second period was largely devoted to the literary criticism and tales from Shakespeare, the former reproducing the tragedies and later the comedies. It was his first successful literary venture. In 1808, specimens of English dramatic poets contemporary with Shakespeare appeared. The third period includes Lamb's criticism of life, which was gathered together in his essay of Elia and his last essays of Elia. The style of all these essays is gentle, old-fashioned, irresistibly attractive. Lamb was especially fond of old writers and borrowed unconsciously from Browne, Religo Medici, and from other early dramatists. Next comes William Hazlitt. William Hazlitt had almost no formal education but cultivated an avid interest in literature and painting. William is a more vigorous and less mannered essayist than Lamb. He was an independent spirit and maintained his radicalism throughout his life. Hazlitt wrote many volumes of essays. His first publication was the Philosophical Psychological Tract, an essay on the principles of human action. Lecturing on Shakespeare appeared as characters of Shakespeare's plays in 1817. His later works are Lectures on the English Poet, Lectures on the English Comic Writers, and Lectures on the Dramatic Literature of the Age of Elizabeth. The style of Hazlitt has force, brightness, and individuality. We also find passages of solemn and stately music. He had read widely and his mind was filled with great store of learning. His writings are interspersed with sentences and phrases from other writers, and they are also echoes of their style. Then comes Thomas de Quincey. Thomas de Quincey is famous as the writer of impassioned prose. De Quincey is well known today for his classic, The Confessions of an English Opium Eater. He was born into a wealthy family but soon squandered his wealth. Initially published anonymously, De Quincey's work became popular enough to demand a second expanded version in 1856. The specialty of his style be formed in describing incidents of purely personal interest in language, which suited to their magnitude as they appear in the eyes of the writer. His prose works are more imaginative and melodious than many poetic works. He wrote mostly in the form of articles for journals and he dealt with all sorts of subjects about himself and his friends, life in general, art, literature, philosophy, and religion. Then we have Jane Austen. Jane Austen's romantic fiction earned her a place as the most beloved writers in English literature. After the publication of her Nephews, a memoir of Jane Austen, she came into the limelight. Her noteworthy works are Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park, Pride and Prejudice, Emma. She also wrote two additional novels, Northanger Abbey and Persuasion, both published posthumously in 1818. And we have Mary Shelley. She was the daughter of the feminist Mary Wollstonecraft and philosopher William Godwin, and she was the wife of P.B. Shelley. Her Gothic novel Frankenstein was published when she was 21. The novel deals with an ambitious young scientist who wanted to be the creator of life. His quest for knowledge and power has ended in his own destruction. Mary Shelley also remained a political radical throughout her life. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.